Merry Christmas. I'm sure to this again. So I've been thinking, which is not ironic, weird. I don't know. I really need to find a word to describe these things, but it's interesting in the sense of like I've been thinking about reality and about state of being, etc., etc. Primarily in the sense of like what happens mentally. Uh, I realized that like psychologically, not psychologically, sure, psychologically, I'm not going to get too caught up in the terminology. Our thoughts generally influence how we feel. Our thoughts influence how we feel, which kind of manifests itself like physically, influences how we feel, what we do, etc., etc. Which I don't find fascinating. The fascinating thing is how to control your thoughts. So I had this like theory that like it's not necessarily about controlling your thoughts because thoughts will emerge. It's more so about controlling the flow, like your attention and how you perceive things. In that, there could be negative thoughts, but if you focus on the positive ones, they just overwhelming. So like I sat down and I was meditating and shit, and then I tried a new visualization technique, and it works in that it really does put you in that state of like this is what I'm experiencing. For example, maybe it puts you in that state of like I'm imagining this, so this must be true, because your body cannot differentiate physical reality from like what's going on mentally. That's why when you dream, you'll find your body will kind of react and release hormones. So like the whole idea with the visualization thing is that if I can sort of imagine something and immerse myself within like those thoughts or those thought patterns, I can essentially control how my body reacts, which could like how my body, the state at which my body is in, which could like motivate me, etc., etc., put me in that state of like where I operate how I imagine myself to be, which is quite interesting. Now, of course, it will take practice. I find the concepts are quite simple. It's just applying them will take practice, which is cool. We all have time. But then you also start to realize that if everything stems from the mind, then what you should focus on primarily is what's going on in your head. Because I've done this thing where I just hustled and grinded, I just read, I just studied, I just exercised. And sure, you get results, but then at some point, everything just kind of breaks down. And it's just because of your head truly wasn't in it. It's almost like you're fighting something, and you don't want it to be a fight. You want it to be a dance. So I kind of came to the not conclusion, but then I decided to try maybe focusing on what's in here, and somehow it's more effective. Now, I guess that biologically it's more effective in the sense of like um, your brain's plasticity and neurons and etc. Very plastic redundancy. A very they're moldable. Everything is moldable, and the more intentional you are about it, the more I guess you could say connect, or the faster these processes happen, and you start to realize that a lot of things, particularly strength and growth, whatever, are like neurological, etc. I don't know if that made sense. But yeah, it's quite interesting. I don't really have a lot to say on it other than everything is mental. I don't know what the Hermetic there's this other book called the Kabbalion. I'm almost done reading it. I don't read in like I don't focus on finishing books. It's mostly an issue of like let me just read. So I find that I could read 10 books, finish none of them, but then I gain the idea. I'm not a forceful person. I prefer when things flow. Um, Kabbalion, the mental is all is the mental. I don't know, something along the lines of there's the all is mental. I don't really want to read too much into it. I'll probably remember it later. But yeah, honestly, that's all I wanted to say. Now I'm gonna go. Yeah.